Entrepreneurship, sales advice. Chase the second order harder than you chased the first. Today I'm joined with Karl Hudson, the co-founder of Surgery, and obviously doing a lot of different ventures as well. A UK entrepreneur that's taken a lot of businesses to the next level. And there's a lot of people in the marketing industry that are obsessed by looking for new business. But can you explain why it's more important, in your opinion, to try to get that customer that's placed an order with you to place that second order?
The problem is when chasing the first order, especially if it's like a lower ticket item, you haven't then got the money to invest in getting the second order. So it's very, very important that you know, if you can get them to repeat the order situation, so that, you know, might order a second time, a third time, a fourth time, that is when they actually become a customer. The initial instance is them just testing you out. They're just trialing the water, so to speak. And if you can't get them to convert the second time, then there has to be some type of problem here. And also that additionally, it's like your profitability and lifetime value of the customer and the business as a whole obviously increases if those customers keep coming back. You actually get to work out a lifetime value. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So like majority of entrepreneurs, they're obsessed with, like I said, with the first order. There's a classic saying where, and it took me a while to understand this because I used to think like customer and client are synonyms of each other. And then I remember one time I was listening to Daniel Priestley and he was saying, if someone's ordered from you once or twice, they're a customer. If they've ordered from you 3 times, they're a client. If they've ordered from you 7 times, they're a loyal client. And what your job is as an entrepreneur is try your best to get them from a customer to a loyal client. Right. So with regards to that as well, I think another massive one where obviously I'm an investorpreneur. I'm looking to buy businesses. And one of the best business models that I can buy is businesses that have got monthly recurring revenue. Trying to build up that MRR. And when you're building up that monthly recurring revenue and you're getting repeat orders from the same customers, I know once I'm taking over that business, the multiplier of that business is worth so much more money than if you're starting from zero every month. So you get in and you're consistently on the flywheel, on the hamster wheel of basically turning around to try to get new business, where you're like, actually, if I can onboard one new client a week, and I can get them to be one new customer a week, and I can get them to be a loyal customer within a few months, so they're reordering, it becomes a habit. At that point, one a week that you're turning into a loyal client is better, in my opinion, than 2 new a day that are just one-offs. Because then first orders are like the onboarding, like it's just hard work and keep onboarding new customers, where you can change them to being actual loyal clients. What's your thoughts on the MRR? Like, what's your thoughts on, another thing is, you do a lot now with paid ads, right? So I'm presuming the LTV is massive. Like we own like Surgery, and sometimes we're looking through the numbers and we're saying we're willing to spend $100 for a new customer. But then if the lifetime value is only $80, then we can't run ads. So ads, we need to stop. But if we increased the LTV and we got it to $500 LTV and it costs us $100 to acquire a new customer, at that point you're saying, well, we can spend $100 to get $500. Can you explain that a little bit further? Why LTV with paid ads is probably the most important aspect of knowing what you can spend?
Yeah, so like the hard part is when it's just so I've got an actual example of it. Well, I've got a few examples, but I'll pick one. So hypnotherapy. I had a great hypnotherapist in Newcastle. They were winning work from paid ads. And then I'm monitoring the account. I think they were getting an average of like a lead was £40. But then when I speak to them, they'll go, oh yeah, it's not so good because obviously I fixed them in one session. I'm like, over there, you fix them. So you only have one session with these customers, essentially, not a client. I'm like, no. I was like, we need to look at your business model here. If you just fix them in one session, you're not going to make money. You're working for time, essentially. What you should be doing is you should be having an introduction session to work out what the problems are, get to know each other, do a fix session where you're going to do the fix, and then you should do a follow-up session, which is to make sure that fix is in place and if there's any other issues. That way you're getting the repeat of the 3, And then that £80 an hour session is all of a sudden it's made it to £240. And that lead has cost the £40. And that's like a pure example of where it then becomes a scalable business model, because otherwise, like you just said, you're going to spend the money and you're just going to churn it out the other side. Whereas, if you can do it for £40 and then you're making the 240, it just becomes, you just keep spending the £40, wouldn't you?
Yeah, for sure. So with regards to entrepreneurship sales advice, with regards to getting them from a customer to a loyal client, how important do you feel tripwire marketing becomes in this with regards to trying to initially just get some sort of audit or offer that sounds very enticing to get the foot in the door, to get them to get the card out of the wallet? Majority of the time now they can do Google Pay or Apple Pay, so they don't do that. But
card out don't own a wallet anymore. It's digital.
Card out the wallet, putting the details in, paying it that first time, to then being able to then improve upon lifetime value, upsells, downsells, cross-sells. How important, because there's so many people that seem to go in for the kill. Right from the very word go and go for a £5,000 offer, like offering that they go, I don't even know, like, surely you've got to take the girl out on a date before you then try to take her back to the bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, within business, you've got to be trying to do that as well. You've got to try to offer them something to say, okay, I'll go out for a drink with you, see what you like. And then from there, then we'll decide whether we're going to have a second date and a third date and a fourth date. Like, surely, like, some of the ads of what you're doing with regards to sales advice for entrepreneurs should be, they need to look, even if it's a lost lead, that first offer, just to get them on the hook to them, okay, that's customer sales number one. How do I get them to sales number two? How do I get them from number one to number two? Hopefully within that audit, there's something within there, even that this says almost as a freebie that gets them to just spend a little bit more again, not that they've got a wallet, but card out with a wallet to then be able to do it, to then pay a second time, to pay a third, until it becomes a habit of being, okay, now I'm paying. And it becomes a habit to pay, let's say, Search a Roof or whatever the service is that's being offered with AI visibility and backlinks and so on and so on. Like, how important is tripwire marketing within this?
Like, absolutely hugely, but probably even more so is the customer journey and your flow, because you can do a $7 tripwire or a $40 tripwire, but if your follow-up process is terrible, you're still stuck in that same rut of you've just spent £80 or £40 for the lead and you've just spent 50 on doing the audit or whatever it is. So it's definitely one of the most important aspects, but more importantly, it's your customer retention model. So how often are you getting in touch with them? You're not always just sell. You have to give information, jab, hook. I think we were just chatting about early on. You shouldn't always be just going for the kill. They need to feel like they're appreciated and valued, and that they're actually gaining knowledge from what you're offering, as opposed to just always having to get the credit card out, because you'll very quickly get sick of that. And 9 times out of 10, if you've set that model up wrong, you'll probably not get them to order again.
So important there, right? So you're talking about, there's a few people called jab, hook, and some people say, nah, do jab, hook, and provide so much value that that they feel like they're having to buy from you because you've helped them so much. And also, you touched upon their touch points. Like, how important is it before miring them? Like, surely there needs to be, is it twice a day, once a day, once a week, once every few days? Like, at what point does it become annoying with how many emails that you're sending versus so many businesses, I order from them and then never hear from them again. And I'm like, that's horrendous. So there needs to be, I'd prefer all my businesses to be doing too much than too little. But how much would you say, is it like Julian Golder hits me twice a day, every day, but I love him. Like, because there's always packed with information. Do you know what I mean? Where I suppose, I'm probably answering this myself, it almost is depending on the niche. But like, what would you say to someone with regards to the touch points? How important is it to try to, someone's not ordered from you for 2 months. So let's say they have gone to stage number 4, to get them to stage number 5 and they've not done something for a couple of months. Surely there needs to be some sort of touch points. There has to be every so often a hook or some sort of offer to an existing client to get them back into getting into the habit of getting the card out to pay.
You'd probably almost come up with like a fallback cycle where, maybe they haven't ordered in 2 months and you've got like some type of product on the back burner that is just another sort of a little bit more cost than your typical low-end tripwire, but it's just another low-cost item to get them back on the hook. It could be some type of new product that you want to launch into. So I know we've been mentioning a lot about with AI and AI visibility tools and things like this. So, it could be something like that, some type of AI visibility audit, or it could be, if you're in another niche, it could just be anything that is of a low, high quality information, but low value on a cost. And then entice them in that way. Or pick up the phone. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know if I'm just a bit more old school. Sometimes a customer just likes to actually have a chat with someone. And I feel like in the online age, everyone's doing emails, but actually sometimes text, go on WhatsApp, text them.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, even though you're not picking up the phone and ringing them, they feel like it's a more personable sort of service.
Do you know what's random about that, right? So we've always been a big advocate of not just doing email. Sometimes it can go into the spam, so sometimes we don't even know. You can get like read receipts and stuff like that. So we started to do the SMS and we started to do the WhatsApp. And one thing that absolutely blew our mind with regards to conversion within touch points and upsells and getting them from customers to being loyal clients was it wasn't actually picking up the phone, which is I think the best method, right? But it's not infinite scale. Was a voice note it was only like 40 seconds on a WhatsApp, which normally mine are like 30 minutes. But 40 seconds,
30 minutes, is that a quick one?
40 seconds on a WhatsApp, but you can resend that same voice note. So I just catch it up. You don't need to say the name because obviously it's generic, but they don't realize it. It sounds very bespoke to them. That then basically goes back to them to say, just want to say we've got this amazing offer on.
To be honest,
want you to be a beta tester.
With AI nowadays, though, James, you could probably take that further and actually personalise it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Get 11 labs running it.
You know what I mean? You could definitely, especially with your AI agents that I've seen, like you wouldn't actually really tell that it's not you. Yeah,
pretty good. Anyone who's watching this anyway, is there any other advice you would give with regards to entrepreneurship sales advice, specifically trying to improve existing customers to become loyal clients? I'd love to know in the description. Karl, it's been a pleasure.
Cheers, mate.